Welcome to Thought for Thursdays. It's great to be with you again in the middle of another week. And I've been thinking about uncertainty. And uncertainties have certainly been a character of lockdown. And in some ways, we can get very impatient when people say, we're not sure what's going to happen next, or appear to change their mind. Where in fact, it can be quite arrogant on occasions to speak out and act as if we know absolutely certainly what's going to happen, when in fact, things could go in a different direction. James in his letter actually gives some really good advice, and I'm going to read it to you. It says this in chapter 4. Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we'll go to such and such a city, and we'll spend a year there buying and selling and making a profit. Whereas you do not know what will happen tomorrow. For what is your life? It's even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we shall live and do this or that. But now you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. Therefore, to him who knows to do good and doesn't do it, to him it's sin. Now, there's a lot we could unpack there. But basically, you can see that there is a sense in which when we're boasting and saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and, we make ourselves sound invincible, that actually that's not wise. And what James is saying is that we need to get rid of that arrogance and actually realize that it's a case of if God wills. Now, I know that people say that, if God wills, if God wills, if God wills. And sometimes it's a way of advertising their spirituality, which brings another kind of level of arrogance. But what we should be doing, I think, is to say it to ourselves. I think James is right that we need to say it, but we don't always need to say it out loud like some sort of shibboleth. We need to say it in our hearts, so that actually we're convincing ourselves to stay in that position of humility and that dependence upon God. So there's a lot of wisdom in these words, that we should just avoid that arrogance of sounding like we know everything, and realizing that we're walking humbly with God and that our lives are totally dependent upon him. So don't be afraid of uncertainty. Sometimes we just have to admit that there are uncertainties in life, and that we're trusting God to see us through in the midst of every single one of them. So do pray for those that have to make decisions when it's almost impossible to make them. And do be forgiving if at times things have to change. And just realize that we too walk in the same uncertainties, but dependent upon the Lord. Well, it's great to share with you, and I look forward to sharing you again. If you need any of my materials, go to hughosgood.com. There's plenty there for you, and I just look forward to seeing you again in the near future.